Happy Friday, everybody. How is everybody doing? Happy Friday. It is good to see everybody. As you come in, let us know where you are tuning in from. I'm so excited to have everybody here for another Relationship Friday. It is so good to see everybody. As you come in, let us know where you are tuning in from. We are excited to have you here with us. We are excited to be talking about becoming the softer you. So hello and welcome everybody. We got Jacob's April here. Hey, welcome. Hey, Nathaniel joining us from Suffolk. We have Virginia Beach in the house. It is so good to see everybody. Can y'all do me a favor when you come in? Let me know where you're tuning in from. But then I also want you to share this. I want you to invite your friends to tune in, your friends and your family. And I want you to, so there's a couple of things my team always tells me to say. I want you to like the page, share the page. What else? Like, share, and subscribe. So we are streaming to YouTube, we're streaming to LinkedIn, we are on Facebook. It seems like there is one other place that we are. So make sure that you are liking, sharing. I'm excited. I'm excited to be talking to y'all and to be sharing the Friday with y'all. So thank you for coming in on a Friday. So listen, if this is your first time, I want to know it. Let me know if you are a newbie. I want to know it. Let me know if this is your first time. Coming here and spending time with us. If this is your first time, let me know. Hey, Vernell. Vernell is tuning in from Chesapeake. Welcome, Vernell. So if this is your first time, throw it in there, say newbie. If you have been with us for several shows, and you know how we do, we always have a good time. If this is not your first time being with us, then let us know that too. Say, been here, done that, and enjoyed it. Awesome. So we have some newbies joining us. Welcome, Marie. First time tuning in on Friday from Norfolk. Welcome, Norfolk. G is in the building. Listen, welcome, Becky. Becky's an old head. OG in the building. She has been with us since day one. So welcome. For those of y'all who have shared, thank you so very much. And for those of you all who have not yet shared this live, go ahead and share it. I'm going to do it too. So I have my phone. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to share it as well. Let people know that we're starting. And we are about to be talking about some deliciousness. So listen, my name is Rachel Hunter. I'm a licensed clinical social worker, owner of RDH Counseling and Consulting, where we help you become your healthiest self. And hey, Asha is in the building. Asha, where you joining us from? We help people become their healthiest self. So we work with individuals, we work with couples, groups, and we are helping people get healthy. Listen, emotionally, mentally, physically, sexually, financially. On Fridays, if this is your first time coming in on a Friday, what we do on Relationship Friday. So y'all already know, for the old heads, the OGs, y'all already know. Virginia Beach is in the house. On Fridays, we talk relationship. And this is, okay, I'm just going to put it out there. This is adult conversation. So if, just so you know, we're all adults. And what we do on Fridays, we talk everything relationships. And because our goal is to help you become your healthiest self. Even if you're not currently in a relationship, I want to help you get ready so that when you do join and get into a relationship, you are good to go. So that's what we do on Fridays. We talk. Yes, Asha, we talk that age. And by the time you finish, though, you are challenged to become a better version of yourself. So listen, let's hop into it. So we are talking about Wait a minute, hold on. I forgot to share. I'm so getting so excited. Did y'all share? Thank y'all for sharing. Let me share right now. Right now. Let me do what I'm asking y'all to do right now. Let me make sure this volume is all the way down. Um, so as y'all are coming in, you're letting me know where you are tuning in from. For those of y'all who are doing a watch party, welcome. We want to see your comments, so make sure that you are commenting on the right side. I think it is. Um, I thought I had to turn this thing down. All right, so I have shared. For those of y'all who have not yet done so, thank you for doing so. Like this, share this, invite your friends. We are live. Okay, so I just shared it. So thank y'all for the rest of y'all who shared it as well. All right. So now y'all know I talked to the fellas, I talked to the ladies as well. Primarily the ladies, but fellas, don't go anywhere if you're here, because it's important for you to listen in, and we want to hear your feedback as well. So we are talking about becoming our softer selves. Now ladies, don't beat me up, don't beat me up, but I work with a lot of women, and y'all are saying to me, listen, I'm ready to be in a healthy relationship, but I know I got to get myself right. So I'm proud of y'all for being honest. And a lot of what y'all are saying is, listen, I struggle when it comes to being soft, like that whole soft piece, because I'm not trying to get taken advantage of. And we're going to talk about catering, because I know y'all don't like that word, or maybe I'm just putting that on y'all. Maybe y'all don't mind catering. What is that? What does that look like? How do we do it? Do we do it? Why should we do it? So we're going to talk about that. We are also going to be talking about self-sabotaging, because a lot of the times we are in these relationships and we are sabotaging because that fear sets in. So we're going to talk about some of this fear that y'all are experiencing. We're going to talk about how to get past it, how to get through it, what to do when you recognize and notice that you are self-sabotaging, that you are cutting ties and doing all kinds of stuff. So let's kind of start there with this whole idea of being soft. What does that even mean? What does that mean? So we're gonna have, y'all know we do polls throughout. So we are going to have you all answer that question, right? When you are thinking about being soft, what does that mean? And then we're gonna talk about, do you struggle with it? Are you able to do it? What stops you? So when you're thinking about that, right? What does it mean to be soft? I want y'all to think about that, and then I want y'all to throw that in the comments. So that's our first poll for tonight. What does it mean for us to be soft, ladies? What does that mean? When y'all are thinking about that whole word, being soft, what does that mean? Do we want to be soft? We're going to talk about that. But what does that mean when we say tapping into our femininity, becoming soft? Like, what does that mean? What are we even talking about? So thank you. Kind. I love that. Yep. Us being kind, right? When you're saying, hey, I'm in this relationship, I'm connected with the person that I care about, that I love. Can I be kind? Is it hard for us to sometimes, it's hard for us to sometimes be kind and or understanding. Now that understanding piece, what do we mean when we say that? Right? This whole piece of understanding. The other thing is, sometimes for those of y'all, if this is your first time joining us, we bring people on who want to speak the answers out loud. So that is an option as well. But when we're talking about being soft, right? Like, what does it mean to be soft? I hear y'all saying kind. I hear you saying understanding. And I love that. What else comes to mind when we're thinking about being soft, specifically tapping into our femininity, right? What does that mean when we're talking about being soft, when we're talking about connecting with our partners in a way that allows us to have true intimacy? And I want y'all to, when we think about intimacy, and we did a live a couple of months ago about what we mean when we say intimacy. So, yes, sexuality is a part of intimacy, but if you take sex off the table, right? If sex is not a part of the equation, just for this example, how are we with the intimacy? Right? Like, how do we experience that level of intimacy with our partner? So, that's what we're talking about. When we say soft, when we're talking about tapping into our feminine energy, I love what Vernell is saying as well. She said patience. Hey, Edwina. Edwina, where are you joining us from? Listen, Edwina loves to come on live. So I know tonight she is all squared away and ready to come on live and share her feelings exactly out loud. But so when we're talking about being soft, tapping into our feminine energy, it really is everything that y'all are saying, right? It's, as women, we are saying, and we didn't know she would have come on. We are saying that there's a part of us that we don't always get to tap into. And that part of us is the being kind, is being patient, it's being understanding. And it's allowing ourselves to connect with our partner in a very vulnerable way, in a way that creates the intimacy that we are talking about. Um, Suffolk is in the building. So I want us to start there, right? With that whole idea of being soft, tapping into our feminine energy. That's what we're talking about. Why, though, doesn't it happen? So let's kind of talk about that, right? Second poll question. What's stopping us from tapping into our feminine energy, into being soft, patient, kind, understanding, right? Because a lot of the men that I work with, especially those that are in relationships, they're like, yo, I'm trying to be the man. I want to provide. I want to protect. I I want to be there for my spouse or my partner, but they resist. It's so hard. They're hard. Ladies, they talk. They want us to be the man that we're saying we want them to be, right? We're saying, listen, I'm tired. I'm doing all of this on my own. I want somebody to step in. And the men are like, I'm right here. I'm trying to, but you won't let me. So let's talk about that. What is stopping us from tapping into our feminine energy, and our femininity, our softness? Hey, Bridget Jones Smith is in the building. Welcome, welcome. So Bridget said, being soft is to be confident in our thoughts and opinions and comfortable that our spouse or partner honors us to listen to us. And my words and actions don't have to be smoke. Listen, listen. I love that, because what we're talking about, it really does start with a mindset. When we recognize and can come from a place of power, right? Recognizing that I am safe, I am okay. I'm not in a battle. I don't have to fight to be heard, to be understood, to be honored. When we come from that position, it really does change how we feel and then how we engage with other people. So I love that the idea of being confident in your thoughts and opinions allows you to be comfortable that your partner is going to honor you. Now, I'm going to put the disclaimer out there. I'm really talking about those who are in healthy relationships. Like, let's just put that out there, right? So, women, when you're talking about being in these healthy relationships, that's what I'm talking about, right? Where you have a partner that's healthy, that's going to honor you. It really does make it a lot easier to be softer, right? You feel comfortable. So when we're talking about what's stopping us from being soft with our partner, I love it. Vernell is saying feeling of being rejected. So we're going to talk about that. Feeling like you are being rejected. Nathaniel said facts. Yes. And when I'm looking at what you all are saying in the comments, this is good. Yeah, so they are definitely agreeing with you, that it really is how you are thinking, your level of comfort, your mindset, that's going to play a big role. So when we're talking about what is stopping us from being soft, Vernell said, feeling like you're being rejected. So I'm going to start there because that is exactly what I hear some of the women that I coach. That's what I hear us saying, that we feel rejected. Now, I'm going to teach just a little bit and I'm going to challenge us just a little bit. And this goes back to the mindset piece. When we're feeling rejected, I feel rejected, and so I behave in a certain kind of way. So I want y'all to see the connection here. How we think makes us feel, and how we feel leads to our behaviors, what we do. So if we're feeling rejected, I want us to go back and start thinking about, what have I been thinking or saying to myself? What am I telling myself? How am I interpreting what is happening to me, right? But it makes sense, right? If we are trying to connect with our partners and we don't feel like they are giving the same energy, then we may not feel safe enough to be vulnerable, to let our hair down, and to be soft. So I love that. I think that's a really good part. We're going to circle back around, though, at the end, because I always like to challenge us, just to start looking at us. So that is going to be really important. I want to just kind of highlight that. How we think makes us feel. How we feel creates our behaviors and what we do. What are you saying to yourself? So those are things that you want to kind of think about. Welcome, Rod. Hey, hey, hey. So what are some other, and I'm going to ask the men this specifically. So men, what do you think stops us? And by us, I mean us ladies. What's your perception? What do you think is stopping us as women, as ladies, from being soft, from tapping into our feminine energy? I just want to hear from the men really quickly. Ladies, don't beat them up. This is just them letting us know. And it's good for us to get this feedback, right? It's good for us to be open to getting feedback from others. So this is good. Some of the other things that stop us from being soft is the perception of what that means, but also the fear. There's fear. So now I kind of want to talk to us about some of the fears that people have when it comes to being soft, right? Like y'all said, being understanding, being patient. What are some of the fears that y'all think play a role when it comes to women being soft and them stopping or not moving forward with being soft? What are some of the fears? And even may be fears that you may have experienced, that I was in a relationship and I wanted to be soft. Like I finally wanted to let my hair down and say, okay, you take the reign, you got it. I'm just, I'm here, I'm going to be partner. And then what came up for you? What fear came up for you? I want to hear that. What was the fear that maybe you experienced, or you just kind of feel like may play a role? So it's Edwina said, feeling that we may be ran over or taken advantage of. Listen, let's talk. Let's talk. That is one of the biggest roadblocks that the women that I have worked with in the past have expressed. Initially, they were very afraid that if I'm soft, I'm going to be taken advantage of. So I want us to talk about that just for a brief moment while the rest of y'all throw in whatever other fears may show up. For those of y'all that are just tuning in, welcome to another Relationship Friday where we talk all things relationships. Today, we are getting ourselves right. We are challenging ourselves on our thinking. We are learning to tap into our feminine energy so that we can show up, one, the way that we want to show up without fear stopping us, but two, that we can begin to connect with the right people the way we're wanting to, and be able to be softer so that the men that we're saying we want, we can get, and we can connect with and have a healthy relationship with. So that part is important. Share as you come in, share this, invite your friends, especially the friend that you see are in a cycle, right? Where they get into a relationship and they self-sabotage. And you see it, they may not see it. Um, or for your friends that are saying, hey, I want to learn how to be softer. I want to learn how to tap into my feminine energy. I want to be more confident and comfortable in that role. Because when we're talking about being soft, we are talking about there's a level of vulnerability that is required. And sometimes we are afraid that if I am soft, if I let my guard down, they're going to see me as weak. They're going to take advantage of me. So I want us just to kind of talk about that for just a little bit. This whole idea of this is going to happen. I'm going to be seen as weak. I'm going to be taken advantage of. Where's that coming from, right? Where we want to start by identifying what are we saying to ourselves, where is it coming from, right? What may have happened, because in the past you may have seen your mom, your auntie, your whatever, that may have been what was role modeled, right? Or may have been taught to you that. And no, we don't cater to men. And we're going to get to that word in a second. But we're not soft. What is soft? No, you're going to get run over. We don't do that. No. And y'all can already see my tone of voice, my body language, right? But that oftentimes is what, I won't say oftentimes, sometimes that's the messaging that females are getting, that we're not soft with men, because if we are, we're going to be taken advantage of. And so that is important for us to challenge that belief system. That one, if I'm soft, if I'm vulnerable, then automatically that means I'm weak. And then two, that I'm going to be taken advantage of. And I want to talk to you a little bit about walls, right? So when we've been hurt in the past, it makes sense that who's trying to be hurt again? No, I don't want to be hurt again, right? So it's natural for us to want to protect ourselves and to keep ourselves safe. So the way that people do it, we put our walls up. And as women, honey, we have learned to put these thick walls up, and they work. They keep people away, they keep people out, but they also, it's double sided. It keeps people out, but it also keeps you from receiving the love, right? So if you have a wall up, and just imagine a big brick wall. So you're standing on one side of the wall, and someone else is standing on the other side of the wall. Inside of your heart, there's a desire to be hugged, right? Like, yo, right now, I feel like I need, hey, cheeks, welcome, welcome, welcome. I feel like I want a hug. How realistic is it going to be for that person to hug you if there's a wall in between, right? So when we are looking at this whole idea of, I want to be connected, I want to experience intimacy, and I want to, in order to experience that intimacy, I have to release these walls. It starts with us recognizing that the walls aren't serving you any purpose anymore, right? It's not serving you. If you're saying, hey, I want to start connecting, I want to be softer. In order to be softer, you do have to bring those walls down, right? And when you bring the walls down, now I can give you that hug, right? Now I can connect with you, and vice versa. Now you can begin to connect. So it really does start with you recognizing what's needed, right? I do need to let go of this fear. I need to look at why the fear is there. So a lot of times it's because something has happened in the past, or like we said earlier, this is what was role model. This is what was taught to us, that if you open up your heart completely to man, girl, they just gonna take your heart, run with it. All men are dogs, right? So there is languaging that we are connecting with that also feeds into this whole idea that if I'm soft, I'm going to be taken advantage of. So we definitely want to challenge that belief system, and that's going to be important to do that. when you are thinking about this idea of tapping into our feminine energy and connecting with um, healthy, that is a caveat, it has to be healthy. But when you're looking at connecting with your partner, so for the people that are in relationships or have been in relationships before and wanted to connect, wanted to be softer, what what was that like for you? And when you noticed you were not able to do so, what was it specifically you were unable to do? So I want to hear that, and I want us to kind of talk about that. I'm going to go now to the comments. Bridget said, early on, I wasn't necessarily soft because I was trying to prove to myself and I was trying to prove myself to myself, ooh, and my husband. There were many conversations about my need for consistent security. Those were hard conversations because I had to share my letdowns from childhood. Yes, to help him understand why I was how I was. But I had to pick a man who matched me and not spending time with, and ultimately choosing a man who looked good, okay, but was really unavailable for my needs for trustworthiness, for a major topic of discussion. Let me see if I'm getting it. Yeah. Um, so these are great points. What I am hearing, and we're going to go back to that in just a second. So, hey, Cheek said, yes, I discussed this very thing a few months ago, my fear of vulnerability. So, listen, in the past, and ladies, we got to be honest, right? There are parts of us that are still traumatized. We are 30, 40, 50, 60 years old. And if there is trauma that we've experienced in our childhood and we haven't healed from it, that age is just a number, because emotionally you are a different number, you're a different age, right? And so it's important to recognize that there may be trauma in the past that I've experienced that's still holding me back and stopping me from being vulnerable, because there's that fear there. The other part that Bridget brought up that is so important is when we've been hurt, there is a desire for consistency and security, right? I need to know, and this makes sense. I need to know that I'm not just going to open myself up to you and you're going to be like everybody else, right? Or the other people in the past. So there are some things that and this is what I teach my ladies in the coaching courses, how to be able to identify the red flags, right? Because that's going to be important. And when we can identify those red flags and we're not jumping out there, right? Because sometimes the woundedness that is there is so deep. We have what we call father wounds, and those father wounds really impact how we see ourselves. Because the role of the father is to give identity, to give protection, to really affirm us. And so, if we haven't had that or we haven't been fathered properly, then we do struggle in our identity and we don't trust. It's hard to trust. Like, yeah, my daddy sucked, or he wasn't there, he was absent, right? So, there's a part of us that is one looking for love that we did not get from our father, or it's hard for us to trust men because we have generalized our experience with our first male to all males and all men. And so that consistency is important when we do finally connect with our partner, seeing whether or not they're consistent, and being able to be transparent and to say, honey, I'm going to just put it all out there. I have been wounded in the past. There are some areas that I'm a little raw in, and I want you to walk through this with me, right? That takes courage to say that. And so when you are able to connect with someone that's healthy, and we'll do a live a little bit later on just to kind of talk about some of the red flags and ways to identify if the person you're with is healthy, is safe, right? Is safe for you to connect with and let your hair down, bring your walls down. Because that's important. If they're not, then no, I don't want you to do so, because you're going to start that cycle again, right? Of being connected and then being hurt. And that's going to further this belief system that men suck, all men are dogs, or whatever the unhealthy core belief you have. So that's important. But when you're able to connect with someone that's healthy and you're able to let your hair down, hey, Ebony, welcome. Um, and get to a place where you can be transparent about your past, it really is freeing, because what you recognize now is that I can just be me. I don't have to put on airs. I don't have to pretend to have it all together. And when I notice these fears coming up, I can quickly address them. So that part is going to be important. I want to jump just a little bit. Now, don't y'all stone me. And I also am still looking to see in the comments if the men have indicated in there why they think women find it so hard to be soft. And we're going to talk from a cultural perspective as well. So y'all know we're going to hit on that. Edwina said, and thank y'all for your feedback and your comments. This is really good. Edwina said, I've been labeled as being bossy because of my tough attitude. But in my experience, because I've been hurt, I tend to put on this hard exterior, even though that really isn't who I am. Tough women want to be loved in a healthy way as well. Edwin, I'm so happy you brought that up. So let's go a little bit deeper, right? Into this exterior part, right? We are presenting as tough whole time on the inside, and I'm gonna use myself as an example. So growing up, we the idea of soft, the idea of connecting with your emotions, crying. Who is crying? First off, who is doing that, right? that was not that was I'm going to use the word frowned upon, right? My perception of connecting with emotions, crying, being emotional, tapping into my soft side was like, no, who's doing that? First of all, who has time to do that? Right. So that was frowned upon. And I was very uncomfortable because I wasn't taught how to do that growing up. I was just like what Edwina said, like tough, like, okay, what? Like, suck it up. What is we talking about? And there were times, and I'll never forget this. And, God has delivered me. I've gone through therapy, but I had to grow. And I recall one time there was a man that I was dating. We were friends. Back up. We were friends, but he wanted more than what I wanted. And he shared his feelings with me, and he began to cry. And when I say that was one of the most uncomfortable places for me, right? To see, why are you crying? Wait, why? Wait, what is going on? Right. And there was a couple of reasons why I felt uncomfortable. One, I felt inadequate in that situation. You crying? What you do? What do you do when somebody cries? Let me pat you. You all right? Right? So sometimes when we are in relationships and it's hard for us to connect emotionally, it's because we feel inadequate or we have not been properly trained, right? And so you need support, you need help with that. And we haven't been allowed opportunities. We may not have been afforded the opportunities to let our hair down. So that kind of goes to the other side of what Edwina was saying. This whole bossy, tough attitude is sometimes that's survival for us. Like, I got to do this. I am constantly pushing, moving forward. I don't want to be taken advantage of. And I've got to keep the ball rolling. Listen, I don't have time for games, right? So that rough exterior is there. Now, I want you to also think about it from the perspective of mothers, right? So single mothers who are trying to take care of their children. Maybe they're business owners. Maybe you are trying to juggle multiple balls in the air, and you are used to being in control. You're used to running the show, making all of the decisions. This kind of ties into what Edwina was saying about the whole bossy thing, right? So you are used to running the show. And so to be able to switch that button off, especially for my corporate women and business owners, I work with them and it's sometimes challenging for them to turn that button off and not try to run the show in the relationship, not try to be bossy in the relationship. So that takes practice to do that. But what Edwina said makes absolute sense, that this whole bossy, a lot of it's coming from a place of hurt, whether it's I was hurt before and I made an inner vow. Inner vow is when we are saying, this is not ever going to happen to me again. I'm going to make sure of that, right? Or we are maintaining a distance, right? Right. So be, I'm going to try to maintain control because in the past I have felt weak or helpless and I was not in control when it came to the relationship. So that is really important to recognize that. And so it does take some unlearning. It takes unlearning and that takes process. You need support to do that. Now let's talk about catering. Catering. Let's talk about that because that word is just as bad as submission for some people. So let's talk. So let's talk about catering. When you hear that word or that term, right? And a lot of times you hear it, oh, she always catering to him, or why is she catering to her man? Or sometimes it's I cater to my man. I think Beyonce has a song. No, that's not Beyonce. Somebody got a song. Let me cater to you. Ladies, what does that mean, fellas? If you're still here, what does that mean? What does that look like? And what do you think about catering? What does that mean? What does that look like? What is catering to you? And is it a good or is it a bad thing? Let's kind of talk about that. Is it a good or is it a bad thing? This whole idea of catering. When you think about that, what comes to mind? Catering. Welcome for those of y'all who are just tuning in. We are talking about tapping into our feminine energy. We're talking about how to become softer. We're challenging ourselves to get ourselves right so that when we do connect with our partners, or if we are currently in relationships, we are growing. We are becoming softer so that our partner can show up the way we want them to. So, catering. What does it look like? What does it even mean to cater to your partner? Do you cater? Have you ever catered? If so, what was it like? Now, this is why it's important that you're in a healthy relationship because, and I think Edwina said it earlier, this idea of being taken advantage of. If you're with someone and it's not mutual, then you do have that whole idea of it becoming one-sided and being taken advantage of comes up. Okay, so let's talk about this whole idea of catering. What does that look like? Is it a good thing? Do we do it? Have you ever done it? Did you feel embarrassed for doing it? Right, because sometimes depending on the culture that you're in, um, that is like, who is doing that? So I want us to talk about that. I'm going to the comments. Ebony said, hey, Ebony, thank you for tuning in and responding. Ebony said, for me, catering is a love language. It's an act of kindness and a way to show love. So let's talk about that, right? Because when we are thinking about catering, catering gets a bad rep. It really does. I'll tell you why. Catering gets a bad rap because it's often done inappropriately. And what I mean by that is one of two ways. We have women who are insecure and looking for love and are wanting affirmation and validation of their importance. And so they cater to men who are not what they need, right? And that form of catering is very unhealthy in that they become doormats. They put the other person's needs above theirs all of the time and their needs are never met. It is not reciprocal. That's number one, right? Where we have that whole negative connotation when it comes to catering, right? You have female, she's unhealthy, and she's using that as a tool to have validation of her worth and value. Anytime we're using doing for someone else as a way to validate or affirm our value, our importance, it's not healthy. And I want y'all to stop it. Let me get real close. Stop it. Right? The other part of it is when we are catering, and this is the second part where if you're in a relationship and you are doing all of the catering, meaning you are being kind, you're being patient, you are being soft, and your partner is not doing that, then it becomes a whole situation and it's unhealthy. But when we have two individuals that are catering to each other, meaning we are both saying, how can I love my partner better? How can I meet their needs? How can I make their life a little bit better? How can I do that for them? Honey, catering is a delicious thing. I love what Bridget is saying. Let me bring it in here. Um, Catering for me is to prioritize, his desires and preferences. Yes, I do it. I consider my husband to be mine. There you go. And anything that belongs to me is special and will be treated as such. He is an extension of me, and I'm definitely treating myself special. So why wouldn't I treat him special? What are y'all thoughts on that, right? Because this is hitting a couple of pieces that we've spoken about earlier, which is prioritizing, right? The other person's needs above yours. And this whole idea of I want to make sure that we're good over here. Like you don't looking somewhere else for what? Because let me cater to you. Your needs are met. I am thinking about you and how I can make your life better, how I can make it easier, and vice versa. Um, I want to encourage it for those that have never had the honor of catering. Again, y'all already know what I said. A healthy person that deserves it, meaning this is a two-way street. It is a beautiful thing. I want to paint this picture for you um, of being able to connect with your partner in a very intimate way. Sex outside, like right. So let me just clarify. When I say sex outside of the intimacy, I'm not saying don't have sex with your partner. What I am saying is when you think about intimacy, I don't want that to be where your mind goes because it's a lot deeper. Okay. So when we're talking about connecting with your person, your partner, and being able to do it in a way where you all are very intimate. In order for intimacy to take place, you have to become vulnerable. And what that means is you have to be willing to let them see all of you. I heard a pastor one time describe intimacy as into me see, right? So this means that we are becoming completely vulnerable in such a way that there is the possibility that we could get hurt, right? Um, I'm thinking about a scripture that comes to mind. And in this scripture, it talks about David and Jonathan. They were really close. And Jonathan gave David his cloak, his armor, anything that could protect him. He gave it away to him. When we're talking about intimacy, I want you to think about it from that perspective, right? It's connecting with your partner in such a way that you are giving them all of you. I am opening myself up. Don't look too closely, y'all, but I'm opening myself up in such a way that I am laying bare And I'm giving you the tools that should this person choose to do so, they could do damage. When the person does not do damage, that is when the true intimacy, the trust that y'all talked about comes in. And that is how we get to a place of being able to have this relationship that we are feeling very comfortable to cater to, right? Like someone that I know has my best interest at heart, someone that I know that is like my best friend, that I'm able to open up completely to. I can be honest with. I can release the fear that this person is going to hurt me. I can release the past trauma that is stopping me from connecting with them. I've done that work, and now I'm able to be me. It is a lot easier to cater to them because you don't see them as the enemy, right? Your perspective is different. You don't see them as the enemy. Instead, you see them as an extension of you. I'm going to take care of what takes care of me. I'm going to take care of me. And so when we are healthy, when we are healed, when we have dealt with our past trauma and wounding, it becomes a lot easier to do this whole catering thing. And that stigma is released, right? We don't feel guilty. We don't feel bad about it because I'm taking care of mine. I want mine to know that I love, respect, value, consider his needs, right? Yeah, I want that. I want him to know, like, there's no doubt. There will be no doubt, right? And so, this whole idea of catering, when we're coming at it from that perspective, that healthy perspective of this is my partner, this is someone that I know has my back. Um, Even when the fear does come up, right? If we've been in some really traumatic relationships, even when that fear comes up, we can do the work of reminding ourselves or challenging that faulty belief that, oh, he's going to be like the last person, or this is going to end up like the we can do that work, challenge that, and then be able to connect with that person. Does that make sense what I'm saying, y'all? I'm going to go to the comments. Um, Ebony said, it's also important to set expectations. Yes. And understand what that means to your partner. Catering to one could be fixing their plate at dinner, but for others, it could mean something entirely different. And that is an excellent point. That's an excellent point. Bridget said, yes, you can be soft when you know they have your best interest at heart. And I want to speak to what Ebony is saying, which is communicating your needs, like being very upfront, direct. There is no room for error, right? Because we have communicated our needs and the expectations. Now that's not something that comes easily. Sometimes you need support with that, right? So in the coaching courses, that's what I teach. How to communicate clearly and directly and not be afraid to do that, right? Because sometimes we struggle with this fear that if I say what I want, they're going to reject me. They're not going to like it. They're not going to go along with it. They may judge me. But setting that expectation, what do I need? What do I need from my partner? What do I want? Someone spoke earlier about love languages. That is so important to recognize what is your love language, but also what is your partner's love language, because that is going to indicate what they look for and how you cater to them, right? So that part is important, is being very clear on what do I need, what do I want from my partner, how do I receive love. Now I'll say this, one of the challenges that we have sometimes is expecting our partner to know what we want, how we want it, when we want it. Like we think they should know. No, sis, they should not know. They are not you. So we got to work on communicating and challenging that we call it cognitive distortion. So challenging that cognitive distortion that they should know, right? The other thing is sometimes we operate the way we expect others to do how and what we do. Like, well, I would have done, but they're not you. Right. So knowing what your love language is, and y'all, that's something simple that y'all can do. There are love languages. You can Google the assessment, is free. And that way you can kind of see what is my love language, right? How do I feel loved? And then have your partner to do it. And then if you don't have a partner, you've done it. And so you know what your love language is, and you can communicate that to your partner. That part is going to be important, right? Communicating your needs. So for me, as I've gotten older, my love language has changed. So before, I was about, the affirmations. I was about gifts. That was my big thing. Like, give me some gifts. But now, as I get older, my what is important to me, what I need, is different, and so acts of service is really important. Can you come and I just had to get the Freon in my car charged. I think that's what they call it. Can you handle that? Can you take this trash out? I think it's so ghetto for me to be taking the trash out. Can you open the car door for me? Because I love that. Right. So it's important communicating that to your partner. This is what I want. And we cannot be angry with our partner because they didn't read our mind. Ladies, we have got to do that. So when you think about this idea of love languages, and I want to go there briefly before we end. And then if there's any questions, ask me. Now's the time to ask questions. But when you're thinking about love languages, what do you like? Do you know what your love language is? If you do, throw it in the comment. I would love to see it. If you don't, but you have like an idea about, well, this is what I do like. I like when my partner does this for me. Um, Put that in there as well. Do you have issues, or do you struggle when it comes to putting your needs out there, right? Asking for what you want. Hey, Selena, welcome. Do you have issues with that? Do you struggle with that? And sometimes we do. All right. What is your love language? Ebony said, so Ebony obviously is aware. I think Ebony must have been quality time and acts of service. Yes. So she is very aware of these love languages. If you haven't done the assessment, it's really interesting. It doesn't take long, but it's really interesting. So this quality time. So when we're in partnership and relationship with our significant other, it's important for us to ask for what we want. But, and this is what I teach, I need you to know how to ask for it, right? So are we coming in demanding, bruh, listen, you need to spend more time with me. And I need you. I mean, why the trash? Can you take the trash out? Like, why can't the trash? Right. So we could go about it that way. Or we can tap into our feminine energy and communicate our needs in a much different way. Scripture says, soft answer turn away wrath. But it also says, in this thing, I was like, wow, it says, a soft tongue breaketh the bone. Now, I want you to think about that. What the heck does that even mean? Like, why are we breaking bones? What? But listen to that. A soft tongue breaketh the bone. I'm going to break that down for y'all. That thing hit me. And so when I have started working with women and coaching them, that is what is important. A soft tongue, right? So our speech, our language, how we are speaking, how we are communicating breaks the bone. Now, not physically breaking the bone, but when you think about a break, it gives way, right? So we have the authority, we have the ability as women, we have influence. Women, let me just say this, we have influence, and we don't need to be hard. We don't have to be hard. I want you to just know, I want to empower you to know that you do not have to be hard to get what you want. In fact, it's the opposite way. If you learn how to walk in your femininity and your softness, you're going to get what you want, honey. You are going to get what you want and what you need, and not taking advantage of anyone else. But in your relationship, it's recognizing that I am powerful. So I don't have to try to maintain power. I'm in control of me. So I don't have to try to fight for control in a relationship. And so, therefore, I can be soft. I can be gentle, kind, understanding, loving, all of those things that y'all mentioned earlier. And I can get the type and quality of relationship that I want. Bridget said acts of service, quality time, gifts. Yep. All of those are definitely love languages. And if you don't know yours, I want you to look it up. I want you to look it up. Do the assessment and see what comes up for you. See what your acts, what your gifts are. So, in the last few minutes that we have, any questions? Any questions? Throw your questions in there. Let us know. I want to tell you all about my masterclass that is going to be coming up in the next few weeks. In this masterclass, we are going to go deeper into how to be soft. So we've talked about what it looks like to be soft. We talked about some of the fears, but now I want to help you learn how to do that. And as you are learning how to do it, it really is helping you to love like you've never been hurt before. That is my next course that I am going to be launching. And ladies, I'm so excited to be launching this course because y'all are saying, I want to have a healthy relationship. I want to I want to be connected. I want to experience this intimacy that I hear everybody else talking about. Like, I want that. And there's nothing wrong with it. And so it's, how do I learn to be soft? How can I start connecting? But first, I need to heal from this trauma. I need to heal from this wounding. I need to address it. I need to see how it's impacting me. So I want to help y'all on that journey of becoming your healthiest self so that you can love like you've never been hurt before. So that moving forward, you can have the relationship you want. And it's time. It's time for you. It's time for you, sis, to have that relationship. So, our website, you can connect with us via our website, www.rdhcounseling.com. Send us a message there and let us know, hey, I want to sign up for the masterclass. I want to be a part of the Love Like You've Never Been Hurt Before course. I'm trying to get this thing going. Sign up for that. I'm excited to be able to take part in helping women grow, heal, and become their healthiest selves, and to have the relationships that you want. As women, we get to role model for our children what it looks like to be in healthy relationships. So, if for no other reason than I'm trying to create this healthy legacy of marriage, of healthy relationships for your children, like you want to role model that, yeah, let that be your motivation. Let that be your why. So let's get this going. We're not going to play games. It's 2022, and we are not going to continue not being our healthiest self. So, thank you, thank you, thank you. I love the title. How can I share this information about the class? Send them to our website, www.rdhcounseling.com. You can also share this video. I'm going to also put a snippet. I'm going to trim this video where it'll just be this course title information on our website as well. We will be posting information about how to link up with us. And then on our Facebook page, I want you guys to follow us so that you get notified when we go live, when we're going to be releasing and launching the courses, when our master classes are going to be. Y'all are going to start seeing a lot more of me doing master classes because it's time. Y'all been asking. I'm going to do it. So make sure that you all are following us. We're also on YouTube. Please subscribe there. We just got over there and we need to get our numbers up. So do us a favor, subscribe there. Also, I want to make sure that we are giving you all quality content. So I want to know, what do you want? What do you want to hear us talk about? What content are you interested in? Right. So I want to know that. So message us. You can message us on Facebook, Instagram. We're on LinkedIn. Where else are we? YouTube, our website, Facebook, all of those things. Let us know. We want to know. Thank you, Ebony. Ebony said, thank you. This was a great way to spend my evening. Yes, I will be looking into you taking your masterclass course. Excellent, excellent. Thank y'all for joining us. Excellent. Thank you. Bridget Jones going over to YouTube when this is over to subscribe. Please, y'all follow her. Share this, share this, share this. We want to get the word out. We want to help women become their healthiest selves. We'll see you next Friday. Listen. Next Friday, we are talking about life after divorce. Like, there is such a thing as life after divorce. And so I want to empower my women to know, women and men. So we're going to have men and women that are taking part in the conversation about life after divorce, how you can heal, how you can keep going and not get stuck there. So, and we have some exciting listen, follow us, connect now, because when we blow up, but we have some really exciting things coming up, and I'm excited for what doors are opening up for us. So make sure that you all let us follow us so that you get notified. And also, we want to make sure that you are tuned in. So share this, let other people know about it. Next Friday, Life After Divorce, 7 p.m. And we will see y'all there. Y'all take care, be blessed, and we will see you later.